Ready for another round of Cossacks 2 Battle for Europe? Yes? Then welcome back and let's go. We will watch a match between the red player Robespierre, who is playing for Austria, and his opponent Lancer, the blue player, who is playing for Britain. At the beginning, let's take a quick look at the map in an overview. So here we have the base of Robespierre, and on the other side lays the base of Lancer. And as you can also see, both players are separated by a big lake, so attacks are not possible in the center, but only on the two flanks, so on the top of the map here and on the bottom. Okay, back to the game. I want to talk a little bit about building order and particular strategy for each nation. I want to do it by the example of Britain. One subscriber of mine asked me if I could comment on that a little bit in my last video. And yes, for Britain, it's the building order for me is to build the town center at first. It's no surprise, you have to do that. And after that, building the market in order to be able to trade coal for wood, so you can level up your food settlement right from the beginning, and more workers will produce food for you, and food has good exchange rate at the market, so it's reasonable, and you have to have a lot of food in order to feed your troops. That's another reason for that. And after that I built the barracks and trained musketeers, and then it's the next building is the academy. It's required for the palace to be able to build the palace, and the palace provides you with extra gold income, and you can pay, so to say, with that your Highlanders, which cost 2 gold for every soldier. And after the palace, which I'm building here right now, you have to build the blacksmiths, at least as far as my building order is concerned, because that's the last requirement in order to be able to train the better soldiers, namely the Highlanders. And after that I built the light and heavy cavalry stables for Britain. And I think Britain is a nation which relies on really good units, so it's more about quality for them than quantity. Because they don't have cheap second barracks, they don't have cheap second stables, so they have to have very good units in order to be able to beat even an opponent who has the numerical superior force. So here we can see, back to the game, 2 squads of British musketeers chasing 2 squads of Austrian Landwehr. So these are very cheap and weak units, and it's a battle for the food village. Lancer sends in his British musketeers to kill the civil police in order to be able to capture that food village. And one British musketeer squad is in line against one line of Austrian Landwehr, and they're exchanging volley fire. The British musketeer squad gets in square to defend and is supported by another unit of British musketeers who also shoots, and that's why the Landwehr is retreating a little bit, and Lancer was able to capture that food village. On the other hand, Lancer was also able to capture that neutral gold village and that neutral food village, and right next to it he built a storehouse. And the next unit is up for Lancer, the Highlanders, and they are sent to the top of the map to the gold village, but this gold village is already captured by Robespierre. He has now trained better soldiers, the Fusiliers. They have 12 in melee damage, which is pretty high, and they are advancing. Also another unit is ready for Robespierre, the Landwehr, which are following the Fusiliers, and it's gonna be a collision of the two enemy units. So I think the Highlanders are getting into a defensive position in the trees. And Lancer is sending the next Highlander unit to the top in order to drive the enemy back. And let's see what happens here. So Robespierre is building a blockhouse with his sappers, with his combat engineers, and Lancer pulls his musketeer squad back and tries to defend that food village, I think. And now the Highlanders are shooting against the Fusiliers, and the Landwehr, which were advancing, is retreating a little bit to the coal village. And now one squad of British Highlanders are shooting against the Landwehr, which is demoralized pretty heavily. And here you can see a good thing about villages is that your troops are getting refreshed. As you can see here, the Fusiliers are getting refilled. And now, another unit of Fusiliers is joining the fight for Austria. But the Landwehr unit were frightened by the shots of the Highlanders. And British cavalry is ready to join the fight. So Lancer sends in his troops to drive back the enemy.
We have no shelter.
His cavalry is attacking the reloading Fusiliers. The other Fusilier unit were shooting. The Highlanders are chasing them. And now they shoot, I think. And were able to demoralize the Fusilier squad pretty heavily once again. And the Landwehr unit is attacking the Highlander squad and shooting against them, while the British cavalry, the mounted users, were able to make the Fusilier squad of Austria, which was sitting here in the coal village, disintegrate. And now Lancer is chasing Robespierre to the gold village. He sends in all of his troops, I think, besides the two British musketeer squads, which are holding a defensive position here. Lancer also has built a blockhouse, and now he is building an artillery depot in order to build a howitzer, I think. And now Lancer tries to occupy that gold village, which still belongs to Robespierre. And Robespierre is quickly building a blockhouse here in order to protect against an offensive of Lancer. And I think Lancer is now able to capture that gold village. And let's see how that part of the front will develop. Okay, Lancer is retreating with his Highlanders. Doesn't want to make any further progress at the moment, it seems. So his Highlanders are lining up here between the river and the building. And behind that line, two British infantry squads are sitting in square formation. And now his mounted users are getting refreshed. So now they are sent down here on the map. And I think Lancer is preparing for an attack here, because this side of the map is very much unprotected by Robespierre. He built a blockhouse, but it shouldn't be a big problem because the howitzer will destroy it easily. And it seems like Lancer is gathering many troops here in order to manage to break through this line of Landwehr and make a big offensive on the right flank. On the other hand, Robespierre trained grenadiers and sent them into fight in order to be able to win that gold village back. But now you can see it's pretty hard for him because he shouldn't attack the Highlanders because they are in line and have a stand ground bonus, but he also isn't able to flank them because of these two squads protecting the line of Highlanders. And we have to switch a little bit because the howitzer was able to destroy the blockhouse, and now every British soldier down here is on the offensive, and Lancer will be able to capture that gold village easily and repel the Landwehr. And on the other hand, Lancer is still defending that gold village, but ultimately I think he will lose it because of the superior forces of Austria who are fighting here for that gold village. But you can see on the other side it looks pretty bad for Robespierre. He has only one squad of mounted Uhlans for the defense, and that won't be enough against these units of Britain who are advancing furthermore. So Robespierre was able to capture that gold village, but he has big problems on his other flank. So one squad of British Highlanders are now occupying the stables of Austria, and another squad of British Highlanders is sent into the food village. And at a different location on the map you can see Lancers trying to capture another food village with his musketeer squad. So you can say Lancer is spreading out his troops, so Robespierre is confused and doesn't know where to send his troops in response. And now we can witness a big battle between the two armies. The British cavalry were shooting, also the infantry of course, but together it was a devastating effect and the Austrian army were demoralized. So the economy of Robespierre of Austria is breaking down. The food village also was captured now by the Highlanders, and he doesn't have many troops in reserve, so I think that's it, and he has to capitulate. But it was an intense fight, and here you can see the British Grenadiers. I have captured the gold village, no, the British Musketeer squad, sorry. So analyzing the game, it was all about seizing the right moment and make a quick and decisive attack on the right flank. And that's it. I hope you liked it, and we will see us in the next video. Stay tuned. Have a great day. Bye.